Football has its ups and downs. You can't win every match, but you can win every bet. Start your free trial and earn £30 risk-free today at oddswatchdog.co.uk.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Gooner Ramble. Tonight we're going to be talking about Arsenal's final Premier League game of the season. 3-1 victory over Everton. I think my panel will agree in saying that it was a very, very exciting game. And on the topic of my panel, I'm delighted to be podding once again with the wonderful Amanda. Amanda, how are you this evening?
Hello darling, I'm good. How are you?
I'm mixed emotions at the minute, but hopefully we can chatter away our problems tonight. And I'm also back with Warren. It's been a while since you've done one of these, mate.
I know, mate. I've missed you.
I've missed you a lot too, mate. And delighted to say that Phil Costa has joined us this evening. Phil, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's only going to be one-way traffic, isn't it, at this stage? But, hopefully we can all hold hands and talk about our feelings together.
As you can tell, it's all very positive right from the get-go. Amanda, I'll come straight to you. Today's game, it did have quite an end-of-season feel to it. There are a lot of goals all around the Premier League today, but our one in particular, 4 goals, 3-1 victory in the end. A very hard-fought victory. Certainly Arsenal playing with a lot of intent today, and it's a real shame that we didn't see that desire, that strength and passion earlier on in the season. What did you make of today's game?
Oh, it's such a mixed emotions today, wasn't it? Because we had to concentrate on what Middlesbrough were doing at Liverpool. And it didn't matter if we won 25-0 if Middlesbrough lost, which unfortunately, as we all know, they did. So it was weird. It was a really strange. At the beginning, it was like one of those things where everyone had their phones out waiting for the updates at Anfield. My best mate was on the cop, so I've got no worries with getting updates. And every like 10 minutes or something, it's still 0-0. It's still 0-0. Yeah, I mean, what do you want to discuss? Are we going through the goals or what? What do you want? What do you want me to? I've had a drink, by the way.
Oh well, everything's a bit all over the place in Amanda's head this evening. Okay, let's keep it simple. What did you make of this team lineup?
Okay, yeah, I was good with it. Yeah, I was fine. Absolutely, I've got no arguments. I'm pleased Giroud wasn't in the team. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want that player near our team, but so I was quite pleased. I didn't have an issue with it. I knew we'd win. I called it all along. At the very beginning, when we did a pod about 6 weeks ago and we had 4 games to win, I said we wouldn't win 4 games on the trot. No way. I said we wouldn't do it. After we won 2 games, and especially at Stoke, I thought now we're not going to lose a game. So even when it was, a bit dicey with Everton, I wasn't plutzing one bit today, not one bit, even at 2-1. I wasn't plutzing, so I was all right with the team. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was an exciting team lineup, and certainly we do seem a lot more dynamic and fluid going forward with Danny Welbeck leading the line. Phil, for you, is that a team that possibly could be an audition for the FA Cup final next week?
Well, I thought it would be, but that was changed pretty quickly. I'm sure we'll get onto that after, but I mean, just echoing what Amanda said, I think, I've got a lot of time for Giroud. I think there's a certain time and a place for him, and I think he's effective at what he does. But I think in this formation in particular, he hasn't got all the technical quality in the world, but I think Welbeck just offers us so much more. He's got the presence, but he's also got the ability to link when coming deep, and he can run the channels as well. So yeah, I probably would have gone for that, and I think he'll be looking to start Welbeck in the final on Saturday.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. As I say, we look at a completely different side with Welbeck in the team, but it's good to have that option in Olivier Giroud. But for me, it's definitely got to be Welbeck that starts that game on Saturday. With you, it was a very exciting start to the game. I don't know how many beers you'd had beforehand, but certainly it was quite an electrifying start from Arsenal. We got that early goal through Hector Bellerin, but we had a couple of chances just before that. It was a game that you feel, if what didn't happen, well, what happened didn't happen, should I say, a bit later on after we scored that first goal. You do feel that we could have won this game. Maybe it's a bit arrogant of me to say we could have won it 4-5, 6-0, but it really did have that feel to it. We started this game with a lot of intent. What did you make of that opening 10 minutes?
It's Arsenal of old, really, mate. Do you know what? We very, very rarely in the last few years have we took a great game by a scruff of the neck and really gone out of side and said, look, here we are, can you deal with us? And we did. And we come out and we looked the nuts. We really did. We were first to every ball. We were strong in the tackle. We were winning duels, individual duels. Lukaku weren't getting a sniff. We dominated the early proceedings. We were well on top. And it's exciting and more than anything, it's frustrating. We've won 8 of our last 9 games now. And it's ridiculous because we won 8 of our last 9. If you would have said you're going to win 8 of 9 games in May, you'd be saying, oh, we're going to win the league. But we're 5th. And it's just such a frustration because we've sort of seen us implement this 3 at the back and it seems to suit a lot of players, not just 1 or 2. It is really helping the entire squad and it's just heartbreaking, really. But today, in isolation, when I look at today's game, I loved it, mate. I really, really did love it. I love the way we reacted to going down to 10 men. Not at one, like Amanda said, and not at one stage of that game today did I feel threatened. Did I feel worried? Gabriel's I thought he was fantastic today. I thought as a team we were just brilliant, and it's just heartbreaking to know that we've missed out on the Champions League and we've gone on a run like this, even adapting to a new formation. But there's so many questions as to why something like this didn't happen a long time ago and why we've performed the way we have. And for me, when we've been writing off individuals for months and months, you've seen every player's been, do you know what I mean, run over, put through the mill, and everyone's questioning them and are they good enough? Are they fit to wear the shirt? Like that disgrace at Palace. But now you're seeing the players implemented in a regimental tactic. They look solid, they look secure, they look comforted, and we looked like a proper football team. And it's just where has it been, mate? And I don't know, but I loved today. I really enjoyed the football side of things. Obviously, it was disappointing the way the overall picture ended, but in isolation as a game, I thought it was one of the best 10-men performances I've seen for a long, long time.
No, I'm in total agreement with you, mate. And just sticking with you, you mentioned there about where has that kind of performance been this season. It's not just the change of formation that I think has spurned Arsenal into a new light, really. But there was so much passion and so much desire in that performance, and something that we have lacked at crucial times this season. I'm looking at Everton away, City away, Bournemouth away, Borough at home. Where has that type of performance been, and why haven't we been able to show that when it's really mattered?
I think it just stems from the top. It stems right from the top of the club, right from Stan Kroenke all the way down through the hierarchy. And we've had this issue for a while now, and Arsenal have been accused of being a soft touch for a long, long time now. And things have to change. And when you see an Arsenal side go down to 10 men very early in the game, and you lose Koscielny, who's pivotal, and we know he's been brilliant for years. But we didn't look in trouble, and we all clubbed together, and we just knew what we were going to do straight away. That the change was made. We knew exactly how we were going to play, and we executed it. And for me, I think it stems from the top. And Arsene, maybe in his own stubbornness, he's talking about, oh, we trained this, we done it. But at the end of the day, you didn't do it. So it's pointless talking about we've trained like this, we've done this. But we've seen Conte. He come into a brand new football club, a side that finished 10th last season. He started with a tactic that he was trying to get, and he realised it weren't working. He looked at his squad, he evaluated it, and he changed it at half time at the Emirates. They were 3-0 down. From that moment on, bosh, champions. And who knows what could have happened if we'd have changed this system a bit earlier. But I think the fight and the grit and determination comes when a team is happy and it's playing well. And I think you start to, when things are going bad, everyone starts questioning these tendencies and these abilities in players. But when it's going well, it's very easy to say, look, he's up for it today. He's strong in the tackle, because you notice them sort of things. And like you mentioned, with the players looking happier and things, even Ramsey got his goal. You could see it was like a monkey off. He was going mental when he scored, even though it was do you know what I mean? It really didn't count for much, but he was just so happy. And all the players from 1 to 11 today, well, 1 to 10 after the 20 odd minute, but everyone worked hard. And yeah, it's hard to look back on this season, because for me it's been a disgrace. But like you say, I can't really answer as to where has this been. I don't know. But I'm not forgetting the previous 40 odd games this season for a nice little run at the end of the season, because we've sort of had that for 3 or 4 years now, and we've got away with it, but it don't wash with me anymore, really, mate.
No, that's fair enough, mate. Amanda, coming back to you, was mentioned quite a few times there that it stems from the top down. There were quite a few chants aimed at a certain Stan Kroenke, whatever you want to call him, today, and there were also some banners aimed at the man as well. Do you honestly think that with the recent bid, the alleged bid from Alisher Usmanov, that Kroenke may be questioning his future as the majority shareholder of Arsenal Football Club?
No, I don't think he cares, to be honest. I loved the chant that was going around. We needed to sing that the whole game, to be honest. But I think once we went, it was 2-1, and then everyone heard Liverpool 1-2-3 up. That's when it all started. We lost it by 1 point. We can name so many games where that is relevant. The main one for me was Liverpool at home, first game of the season, when Wenger came out and said we were unprepared. Are you having a laugh? You've had all summer to get prepared, but we're not prepared on the first game of the season. I think Koscielny was still on the beach. I don't even think he'd bought Mustafi then. How can you not be prepared? Honestly, I could rant all night about this. And I think that was the shape of things to come, although we didn't know it then. But I'm with Warren. I've got a question. You know, he said that he practiced this formation back in November and December. Why take 4 months to bring it in? I'm not working on hindsight here. We were shit for 4 months. So why not change it after a month? Exactly what Warren said as well about Conte. We tore them to pieces in, was it October? They went on a winning run of God knows how many games because he looked at his team and thought, this isn't working. That was October. So, sorry, I do divert. But going back to Kroenke, no, I don't think he gives a toss. If you look at his businesses, his sports businesses in America, they're all doing really poorly. Do you think he cares that a few thousand fans are seeing Stan Kroenke, we want you out of our club? Do you honestly think he cares? I don't. I am absolutely disturbed that he's at our club. People don't realise. I think fans are starting to realise now how dangerous this is, because we're now in the Europa League. We're dropping down. I know we were second last year, but we are dropping down. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Tottenham, all getting stronger. Here we go. There's the roller coaster of a ride. I want him out. I actually don't really care who buys the bloody club. I couldn't care if it's Usmanov or someone else. No one can be as bad as him. It's what Ian Wright said the other day. It's not good he's there.
Yeah, no, I don't think you could have summed that up any better. Phil, I don't suppose you've got anything to add on that?
Not much, really. I think as soon as that Financial Times article came out, breaking news, the timing was just too perfect. I mean, this was clinically done, this release. I mean, he knows that there's unrest amongst, from top to bottom in the club, really. Fans are beginning to turn on Kroenke. The board meeting next week to discuss, Wenger's future is looming. We can miss out on the Champions League. So just doing this before the Everton game was no coincidence, really. And I think, there's obviously something going on there behind the scenes. He's tried and tried again to buy the majority, share of Arsenal, and Kroenke's just not. He doesn't care. Amanda said it. He doesn't care. He's away on his farm somewhere in Texas, and he's just laughing. Whether he's completely at fault is, I don't know. It's difficult to say because I think we've underperformed in so many different areas this season. And that's off the pitch, on the pitch, everywhere. But there's no doubt that from the top, it's this sort of. There's something eating away at the core of Arsenal, and it stems from him without a doubt.
Yeah, no, I'd be in total agreement with that. I mean, the one thing I would say about Kroenke is that I do think, as much of a terrible man he is, the funds quite clearly have been available to Wenger in recent years. So, I mean, as you say quite rightly, Phil, it's a shared flaw, I would say. But sticking with you as well, let's get back to the game itself today. Laurent Koscielny receiving a red card, which now means he will miss the FA Cup final. What did you make of the challenge and the decision from Michael Oliver?
I mean, I was on the other side. I sit in the West Stand, so I saw him charging in, and I had a flashback to 2010. He's been so good, so solid, so calm for us recently, especially since we went to 3 at the back. He's been absolutely faultless. And I just saw him charging over there, and I was like, oh, I had a bad feeling. And then, I mean, I didn't see exactly quite how bad it was until afterwards on my phone, but it was just a moment of madness. And we know he's prone to those. We've seen him, dive in for penalties and have these crazy red card moments before, but we were in complete control of this game. And, when you realise now that next week is at stake, a massive FA Cup final, it's just a bizarre decision. It's a rush of blood to the head. Maybe he wanted to get in there hard on Valencia to get the crowd going as well, and maybe stamp his authority on the game. I don't know, but all in that 10 seconds now, that could cost us for Saturday big time. And it's just a massive shame, because I think he's been brilliant recently. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a difficult one. I mean, I don't want to blame him too much, because I think his intentions were, I don't think he went to hurt Valencia and he was still far away from the goal, so it wasn't it wasn't a last ditch tackle. I think it was just mistimed and rash, and I think, he'll definitely be disappointed with that when he sees it later and when he misses out on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. It's a real shame, because Koscielny's he's quite well renowned for making those sort of challenges, and 9 times out of 10 they come off. But unfortunately today he's just got it wrong. And as you say, hopefully that doesn't cost us in the cup final. But you can't help but feel that he's going to be a massive, massive loss in that game on Saturday. But we'll get onto that a little bit later. Was for you the rest of the game, the way it panned out and the way we dealt with the situation with 10 men? Absolutely phenomenal, I thought. I wish we could have shown it earlier on in the season, as I've already mentioned. But what did you make of the rest of the game, mate?
Yeah, we took the ball by the horns, didn't we? And right from the off, we were on it, and it's so bad, because we keep looking back at the rest of the season, and it's hard to discuss the game today, knowing what we've been through for the rest of the season. But yeah, we were class, weren't we? And we were creating opportunities, even with 10 men. We were on top. We were keeping the ball. We were moving it. We just looked so solid, and they tried to make changes with they brought Barkley on early, didn't they? And they tried to do things, but we responded. And I mean, just on the Koscielny incident, I know Amanda wants to jump in there and talk about it, because I know she's distraught with it. But
I'm
for me,
chomping at the bit.
it's so out of character of recent Koscielny. I mean, when he first joined, he was very rash, and do you know what? Gabriel reminds me very much of Koscielny when he first joined, and I think Gabriel himself is learning to kick on, and he's got more intelligent, and he's progressing in his game, and I thought he was fantastic today, Gabriel. And possibly before he come off injured, I thought he might well have been man of the match. I thought he was fantastic against Lukaku. He won every duel, but God, he's so out of character for Costa. And I'm in that corner of the ground. I'm by the corner flag in block 13. And when I saw him hair across, it was all or nothing. And unfortunately, it was nothing. And it's disgusting, really. I don't like seeing that sort of tackle. It was straight-legged. It was out of control. It was overly aggressive. And it's out of character, but it's not. You can't defend it. It's not excusable. And straight away, 100%, I said red card. And as soon as it come out, you knew, and it's just gutting that you'd lose a player for something so silly and so out of character. Someone who's been there for years, who understands it, and he knows he's going into a cup final at Wembley the week after. I just can't understand the thought process behind the tackle. But yeah, I mean, as a team, mate, we were brilliant today. We were absolutely brilliant. Whether Everton, do you know what I mean, on the beach, as they call it, or all that, but we didn't give them a chance. We really didn't, and we're a side, like I said earlier, that we've won 8 of our last 9 games, and Chelsea won't be looking forward to playing us next week. And I know we took a few knocks with the injuries and that, but we've got players that are stepping in and doing jobs, and we're going to try and match them like for like, and whoever turns up on the day, it'll be good. But yeah, the season gone, we're just gonna have to try and sweep it under the carpet. But today as a game was great, and I think everyone's mind's on next week, and we've cost out for him. It's gutting for him, and it's gutting for us, but yeah. I know. I think you should let Amanda. I can see the steam coming out of her head.
Yeah. Before I say anything else, Amanda, I'll hand straight over to you. You take the reins.
Well, Phil and Warren have been very mature. Considering I'm probably double their age, I'm fucking fuming, right? And I'm not going to be as nice as they've been. What the fuck was he doing? 10 minutes played, nowhere near goal, lunging like that. It's like he didn't want to play in the cup final. And forget the cup final, he's going to miss 2 of the opening games. It's 3 games, isn't it? He misses. He's been playing superb in this formation. I really want to ask him that question. What the fuck was going through your mind to do something like that? I'm disgusted with him. It's bad enough going and playing Chelsea on Saturday with what we have got. Okay, he's done this with 10 minutes. I think it was 10 or 15 minutes played. No need. We're not in a high pressure game here. We were always going to beat Everton. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. And for him to do that, and then what made it even worse, and I kicked off about this. You're fucking clapping him off. Are you having a laugh? People around me were clapping him off, and I was going nuts. I even tweeted about this.
Yeah,
why are you clapping him off?
I weren't clapping him off. I was fuming as well.
I said to the bloke in front of me, well, not to the right of me, I said, so what are you doing? He could have just lost us the cup final. Right, and say Middlesbrough did hang on. We're playing with 10 men for 75, 80 minutes. Are you fucking joking me? Now, first of all, I have to say, the split second I thought it was Xhaka, right? Because this is a Xhaka thing to do. I had my head in my hands again. And when I realised it was Koscielny, I went off my fucking head. He's so important to our team, and he's gone and done that for no reason. The game wasn't bitty. It wasn't nasty. What is he doing? And I'm sorry, every fan that clapped him off, I've got no respect for whatsoever, because he stayed on the pitch for God knows how long, right? I'm sorry to the player or whatever. And you know what? I don't know where you sit, Warren, but that I'm right above that. Okay, it's in front of me, and we all went like that.
Yeah, it looked horrible. I thought his leg was snapped. I really did.
If anyone dared argue with me, someone did argue with me at half time, funny enough. And I said, listen to me. I don't even need to see a replay of this. This is a definite red. I'm not arguing with anybody here. And I asked Twitter to send, like one of the guys on Twitter sends me a GIF. It looked even worse. When I saw it on my phone, I winced. I want to know what was going through his mind at that second. I know you get red mist as players. I'm not a football player, but I do get it, right? But nothing was going on to cause red mist. There wasn't anything. We weren't a minute to go, 1-0 down. I don't understand it. I'm disgusted with him. I'm sorry. I feel like he didn't want to play Saturday, and I don't know why. And then, you're right, Gabriel was out of this world. He's now injured. We don't know what is wrong with him. But when you're stretchered off like that, and then given a yellow card by the ref, well, I don't even want to go there. And then Alexis goes down, and we don't know. He goes straight down the tunnel. So I'm sorry, James, Phil and Warren. You've been very nice about Koscielny. I'm fucking fuming with him.
Okay, that was I don't even know what to say.
Well, you can agree or disagree. I'm just saying that's how I feel.
I'm inclined to agree. I feel, dare I say, I gave him a little clap as he went off.
Oh, what were you clapping for, James? For what?
I wasn't actually clapping him.
Oh,
let's not get into that. I was going to stick with you, Amanda, but I feel we've only got to give the rest of the panel a little bit of airtime. So, Phil, I'll come to you. We finished 5th. First time that's happened in 20-odd years. How do you think that's going to impact the club? A lot of people are saying that it could have a somewhat positive impact. Maybe it will take someone like Kroenke to take a look at himself in the mirror and maybe question his future at the club, or maybe it will have the negative impact that so many people are fearful of. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's the first time in my lifetime, actually. So it's a weird feeling for me, and I'm sure it will be for a lot of fans. I think what you're talking about before, I think it's a mixture of both. I think finishing outside of the top 4 has definitely been a reality check, and maybe not to those upstairs, but to the manager, maybe to the players as well, that, you know, we have finished. I mean, last year we finished 2nd, which was, you know, unbelievable. Somehow we managed it, and we've always had these nearest, these sort of last day escapes, and, you know, your luck runs out eventually, and this year we just couldn't hang on for that little bit of luck again. So in terms of where we go from here, I think it's definitely a wake up call. I think what what it does now. We have to decide whether we want to commit to it or not, because we now know that from Jose Mourinho that you can sort of blow the league if you want to go for this, if you're taking it seriously. So there's always that to take in mind. But this is not really where Arsenal Football Club want to be. It's not where they should be. No one with Arsenal, no one involved with Arsenal wants to be in this competition. It's it's second rate. You're playing some terrible teams from all over Europe. We want to be up there with the big boys, and I think obviously it will impact who we can bring into the club. I mean, we've already seen Lacazette, whatever you think of him, say that he wants Champions League football next year. Whether we want him or not, I don't know. But although I do agree with Wenger that it might not affect us as badly as it would have maybe 2 or 3 years ago because of all the TV money. But it's just disappointing because you want your club to put in their best foot forward all the time. And seeing Tottenham in there now, I mean, they stormed it again today. What was it, 7-1?
7-1,
it's getting ridiculous. City won 5-0. They all seem to be improving. Like Amanda said earlier, all these teams are on an upward trajectory, and we're just sort of up and down every week, and it's not good for anyone. It's not good for the players. It's not good for the management. We really need to sit down. I think Wenger's, I think the signs are he's going to sign on. Everyone needs to sit down and really just assess where we're going to go from here, because it can't happen again. And if it does, then it's going to be a worrying few years for us.
Yeah, we certainly didn't have this stadium built to be playing on Thursday nights. I know that we, in recent years, haven't done particularly well in the Champions League when it's come to getting past the group stages. But personally, I'm absolutely devastated that we're not going to be playing Champions League football. There's nothing more I love than a Champions League night. It's just something's got a special buzz around it. Something that I can't get excited about in Europa League. I seriously can't. I'm not looking forward to playing on Thursday nights. I'm not looking forward to seeing the club travel to the far corners of Uzbekistan. It's not something I'm looking forward to at all. Let's touch briefly on the Europa League. What are you making of the competition and how we're going to face it?
Personally, I want to take it seriously. I want to take every competition seriously, and I do believe that a club the size of Arsenal should be able to take every competition seriously. That includes the League Cup. That includes everything we enter. And but Arsene Wenger's never won a European trophy. I mean, obviously I don't personally want him in charge next season, and if he is the man that is going to be taking the team into the season next year, I'd like to think that we would be taking that as serious as possible. And yeah, you play a lot of games and you do this, you do that, but that's why you've got a squad. And no one, look, let's be honest, United are going into the Europa League final. It'll guarantee them Champions League football next year if they beat Ajax, and that's their only way into the competition. Obviously, they've had a poor season, but it's just so disappointing, like you've all touched on as a fan, because there's a lot of people out there who go, oh, it don't matter, like Champions League, we never win it anyway. It ain't the point. Like, that is the ultimate, that is the best competition for club football in the world. I don't care what anyone says, when you get to the latter stages of that tournament, it is incredible to watch. Even as a neutral fan, watching this year, we'll watch some fascinating games, the best managers in the world going head to head. I want Arsenal to be on that level. I really, really do. I don't want to be seeing a rejuvenated Ajax side in the final against Arsenal in the Europa League. I don't want to, do you know what I mean? It's just no disrespect to all these clubs. They're big clubs, they're doing great and all that, but the Champions League is the pinnacle. Mesut Ozil, he adores the competition. He loves it so much. And from our point of view, we've been far too poor for far too long in that tournament. And you can talk about draws and who we played and who we ain't played and all this, but even the group stage, as a travelling fan, you get to go to some of the best stadiums, the best teams. You experience things, and don't get me wrong. Next year, Thursday night, wherever it is, I'll be there because I'm a mug and I follow my team through whatever. But I don't want to be in the Europa League. But I really do hope we do take it serious, and now we know we're definitely in it, and we've got to swallow that, and we've got to come back next season stronger. And it's a huge summer with investment, with attracting players, and I actually really do think our squad is very good. And I saw comments from Arsene earlier talking about 1 or 2 additions, and personally, I wouldn't disagree with him if we had a manager that knew what to do with the players we've got. But he's spectacularly failed this season with the squad. Because I do look man for man through the team, and I look at our bench, and I look at players that are coming in, and they're doing jobs, and we've got a good squad. But yeah, next season I'd like to go for the Europa League, and we'd be stupid not to. But we can't go in there with reserves and that. But it's just we're in the Europa League, man, and it ain't really. We've been. Some people might say we're privileged to have been in for all that time, but we're a big club. I know Man United have lost Fergie and they finished 7th, 6th, but we're not Man United, and we've got to look at our squad and where we are and where we are and what we've got, and we're massively underachieving. And last season was a falsified position in second place with Man City going through transition, Liverpool with Klopp, he's in the early stages of his tenure there. Obviously, all these clubs are changing managers. Mourinho had a mayor, and now this season, when they're all back in their first seasons, a lot of them, we're fifth, and it's heartbreaking really, because like you said, Cookie, I mean, Champions League nights, you go down the Emirates, the place is buzzing. Under the lights, the Champions League theme tune comes on. You're seeing the best players in the world. I mean, I've been privileged to see Messi 4 times in the flesh because of it. And next season, God knows I'm going to be seeing, but it's heartbreaking, really, mate. And today was a good day football-wise. I enjoyed it, but yeah, it will dawn on you, and especially next season in September when first group stage game in the Europa League, and we sort of come to terms with the situation we're in. And the most frustrating thing for me is that there's so much uncertainty around the club still, and it's just heartbreaking as a fan. And they're going to want the renewals soon, 1st of June or whatever. They're going to want the ticket prices are going to come out. They're going to want you to sign on. We don't know who our manager is. It's a really, really. It sounds, if you listen to this and you never knew anything about football, you would think that we're probably the worst club in the world by the way we're talking. But just because we're used to being a top club, and off the pitch we're a massive club, and we're not following it through, mate. But we've got to come to terms with Europa League now, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a massive backward step in my eyes, and this uncertainty around the manager, around the future of people like Stan Kroenke as well, it makes everything so much more difficult for us in terms of moving forward. There's just no settlement at Arsenal at the minute. But just staying briefly on the topic of the Europa League, Amanda, I'll come to you. How do you want us to approach this competition? I've seen a lot of people say that this is one for the kids. But personally, I'm inclined to agree with Warren. This is a great opportunity for us to put our squad to the test, and really it's a chance for us to showcase certain players that maybe don't get into the starting 11 as much as they'd like to.
I would like to say something. Aren't we in football to win trophies? So the Europa League is a possibility that we could win a trophy, a European trophy. We need to go for it. I agree with what Warren said. Look, it's different for me because I was watching Arsenal late 70s, early 80s. We would have died to get into I don't actually know what it was called then. It wasn't the Europa League. I don't know, Cup Winners' Cup. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, Cup Winners' Cup. Yeah.
Cup Winners' Cup. Or I don't know if it was that.
UEFA Cup.
UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
UEFA Cup, right. So we would die to get 6th or 7th to get in it. We were always wanted to be in it. You know, Liverpool were running, I can't even speak, but you know what I mean, ruling the roost through the 80s. And we were an average club. So I've been there. Okay, so for 20 years, you lot have only known the Champions League. This 4th place shite gets on my nerves. You don't get a trophy for 4th, 3rd or 2nd. At the end of the day, our season will be better if we win on Saturday and Tottenham come in 2nd. They haven't won nothing. And it's ruined football, really, because all of a sudden we're moaning about being in the Europa League, where I'm telling you now, 15 other teams would love to be in it. Look, I'm not happy about Thursday nights and Sunday football. I'm not happy about travelling to the depths of Russia on a Thursday night and playing Sunday. No, I'm not. And that was the only reason I wanted to be back in the Champions League. But you know what? We got a chance of winning it. And if he stays, whatever. But if he does stay and he puts the kids out, I'll be fuming with him. Because my aim isn't to get back into the top 4. My aim is to win trophies with this club. And my aim is to challenge for the Premier League. Challenge, not accept 4th place. You know, he made a comment, we were only 1 point off, okay, but we were 18 points off Chelsea. So now we know where his targets are. What do you mean 1 point off? Why are you 1 point off fourth? Why are you bothered if you're 1 point off fourth when you're 18 off the fucking league champions? Sorry, my whole aim of going to football is to win trophies. The League Cup that everyone has seemed to dismiss all the time now, it's pissing me off. The FA Cup, we're all going to have a great day out Saturday. Do we think we've got a hope in hell's chance of winning it? Not really, but it is a funny old game, football. And knowing us, with half a bloody defence, we could beat Chelsea on Saturday because we're going to be such underdogs. Premier League, Europa League. You know what? Let's go for it. Because I'm telling you now, really, realistically, Chelsea, Tottenham, City, Liverpool, they ain't going to win the Champions League, are they? Not with Madrid, Atletico, Barca, Bayern Munich. I can't see it happening. We'll have a conversation 10 months later. But I want to go and win it. I don't want him to play the kids. I want him to play his strongest team. And we're talking about him like he's going to be there. You know, he is blamed. I've watched his press conference tonight. He's blamed loads of things. He's actually blaming the toxic environment. So here we go again. It's the fans' fault. Fuck off. I'm so angry. Sorry.
All right, man, let it all out.
We're here to win trophies. You lot, I don't mean you lot. I mean, the world seems to forget this. We're not here to get third, second, fourth. We're here to win trophies. So on a Thursday night, I will be cheering my team on at the Emirates. Not that I can even imagine how this is going to be with the crowd, but I'll be there cheering my team on to win every game possible.
Okay. I think we can safely say that Amanda's neighbour will be banging on the door soon. So, Phil, I'll come back to you. You mentioned previously that not finishing in those top four places may impact potential signings over the summer. Do you think that with this summer coming up, given the alleged war chest that we hear season after season, do you think we are going to struggle to bring in the names that we would have liked to have done?
I'm not sure. I think where we are now, we need to be competing for those top bracket players. And if you don't have Champions League football, that's already, a step in someone else's favour. We're already a step behind if you look at it that way. Because at the end of the day, top players want to play top level competition. But, you saw Chelsea sign Kante last year. You saw United sign Pogba. If you want the players and you can convince them that, you're the right place to be, then you can sign them. Look, obviously you're going to have to fork up the wages. You're going to have to fork up the transfer fee, but it's all about convincing the player that you're the right place for them, that you're the right place, for the future. And at the moment, I don't think we can do that. We still don't know who our manager is going to be next season, even though it looks like it's going to be Wenger. There's uncertainty over the academy. There's uncertainty over the whole sporting director situation. There's uncertainty about Gazidis. There's uncertainty about Dick Law. It's just there's uncertainty about how many contracts, are heading into the last 12 months. Wilshere, Ramsey, Chesney, Gibbs, Sanchez, Ozil. You can't convince players that this is the place to be when no one knows what the hell's going on. That's what I was saying. We need to just sit down, ideally after whatever happens next week, that Sunday. They need to sit down, the board, the manager, Gazidis, all in a room, let their feelings out, have a little cry with each other. And they need to, first of all, inform the fans about what's going on, because we've been left in the dark for months now, and it's ridiculous. And, it's just a way of wiping the slate clean. Having some clarity for the future will only, give everyone something to get behind. It gives the players a project and a manager to get behind. It gives potential targets, a future and a manager to get behind. It gives the fans a squad, a players, a manager, a future to get behind, And it's just how it's been left, to get this far is ridiculous. I mean, Arsenal have always prided themselves on being a well-run club, and we do everything, we spend within our means. We're always, wary of issues outside of the game, like, children, and we support all the charities and, LGBT rights. We're so good with all of that stuff, but how the club has just got to this stage is is embarrassing, really. And I think in terms of players, we can sign them, whether or not you want him at the club or not next season. Arsene Wenger is still a huge name in football, and he will be for players, you know, to come and play under him. Ozil said it how many times this season. You saw even Sanchez talk about him to be in Sports last week, saying he doesn't deserve all of this, and you know he's more than a manager to Arsenal Football Club, which is true. But you know we just need to give these players something to believe in, and I think the money's not an issue. I think that's the real issue. The lack of clarity could be the one hurting us over the finances. But I think I'm weirdly optimistic that we'll get a few crackers out of the bag. I don't know why I think that, but I don't know. I think we'll make a few big money signings and really have a go at things next season after we realise how badly we've messed up this time around.
I certainly hope so, Phil, and I admire optimism there. Was coming to you. Let's talk about two of our current crackers, as Phil would say, in Alexis and Mesut Ozil. With us not securing Champions League football, do you think that will have a big impact on whether those two players remain in the club beyond the summer?
It's difficult these days because, like Phil touched on, a big part of it, I mean, the Champions League is always a massive draw, and you hear people like Lacazette and things like that say it, but I think if you offer the right money and you can convince them that they might have to lose one season in the Champions League to stay with the club and go in the right direction, it's doable. But will they swallow it? I mean, I'm pretty sure that they were fed 4 years ago Mesut and Alexis 3 years ago. I can guarantee you that when they come to the club, they were told they were going to be challenging for the Champions League, not entering the Champions League, not making the Champions League. They were going to be challenging for the Champions League, and a club like Arsenal, off the pitch, we're in the top 10 richest clubs in the world, and on the pitch, we're struggling to be in the top 4 in England. So look, these guys are sensational footballers. There's no two ways about it. They're both world class. I mean, I ain't had the chance to talk about Mesut today. I know we ain't really spoke much about the game, but Mesut Ozil today, I mean, for me, I'm a purist. I love watching Mesut Ozil. I love his aura, the way he plays the game, and if I could be any footballer in the world, it'd be him. And I find him fascinating to watch. I think he's a magician, and Alexis is almost not the complete opposite, but he's hustle and bustle, and he'll blow your house down, and he will keep going, and he'll give it away 100 times, but he will get that goal, and he will be that man to run himself into the ground, and that's admirable, and everyone loves him for that, and he is still a world-class footballer. I just think we have to keep him, and I said it a few weeks ago when I spoke to Giles on here, and basically I think it's an indication that if we don't retain the services of them two players, the entirety of Arsene Wenger's reign, not just for the last sort of 3-4 years when they've been here, but the whole transition of the Emirates and all the good work he'd done for the sort of 8 years prior to that, it's been pointless. Because once we have attracted them and we've got our head above the water, we've become what we've become, and we're moving forward, and we've had these two world-class footballers. And I actually thought in the summer, I thought we had it well. I think Granit Xhaka was a fantastic signing. I think Mustafi's a very, very good footballer. I think Lucas Perez was a smart addition to the squad, but he's just not utilised them. And Ozil and Sanchez are two players that would walk into most clubs in the world, if not any. And I know we might talk about it in a bit, but I just thought Mesut today was absolutely sensational, and it was so nice. Sort of in the 88th minute, people were singing Ozil's name for the first time in a long time. He hasn't had his name sung, and it was during the game, and he was actually waving. He was waving to the crowd like at the time, because I think he's one of them guys that just loves to feel loved, and believe you me, if I could love him, I'd love him every day. But we need to keep these guys, and we need to add to that, and we need to be serious. We need to become a serious club, and it's not just about them two men. It's about the club as a whole, and we need to show that we're not pissing about, and that's why I was so gutted that when people like Guardiola and Klopp and exciting managers become available as a club, we weren't serious about the situation, and whether it was a right or wrong decision to give Arsenal more time, it was more of a decision that was the easy way out rather than being a serious competitor and a serious football club, and we know that it stems from Stan Kroenke down, and it's just frustrating. And hopefully hopefully they do sign deals and we do keep them. We can add to them because recently, especially Meza, I mean, the last few months, he's changed of formation. He's had a new lease of life playing on the inside right, and they're just class players, and I'd be gutted to lose them because we're privileged to be able to have people like that at our club because they are world class. But hopefully they sign and we can not put this season behind us because it's almost a repetitive cycle that we're all fed up of. But we have got to just sort of try and win the FA Cup and move on, really, mate. But if we do lose them, I think this cycle has come to a very abrupt end, and Arsene has, for me, ultimately failed the club and failed himself because of the way it turned out. But yeah, it's all a bit depressing, isn't it? But there's not really a lot we can say.
Before you say anything else, let's just lighten it up a little bit. How good was Aaron Ramsey today?
Look, mate. The funny thing, you know, I love Aaron, and we always.
Do you?
Yeah, I love him. But we always have a little laugh and joke about it, and I can completely understand why people might think that my views are warped and it's all rubbish because he hasn't been fit, he hasn't played well for a long, long time. But finally, this Xhaka Ramsey thing, I've been crying for it for so long. Them two are peas in a pod. They're made for each other. They know exactly what to do, where to be, and Ramsey was himself today. And the ultimate frustration for me with Aaron Ramsey is that 13-14 season is unfortunately the way that he'll forever be judged because people are going about his goal scoring and until he scores a goal, people don't notice what else he does in games. And he was fantastic today. The goal aside, forget the goal, and I wasn't shocked, I wasn't surprised because I know he's got it in his locker, and everyone who knows me would have expected me to be jumping up and down, going absolutely mental, but I wasn't. I just stood there and I appreciated it, and it's frustrating it took him that long to get his first goal, but you could see by his celebration that it was a monkey off his back. But I don't want people to judge a central midfielder on their contributions with goals. I thought he was fantastic today, the goal aside. He put Meza through with a fantastic through ball, and he won the ball back more times than any other player on the park again. He covered more ground than any other player on the park again, and he's just an engine, and the fitter he gets, the better he gets, and we're starting to see the Aaron Ramsey that I know is in there, and a lot of people know is in there, and they're more frustrated with him because it's been far too long since we've seen that Aaron Ramsey. But I think there's been a lot of other factors that have contributed to this, and finally, in a balanced side, in a very, very intelligent and established pairing with Xhaka, Aaron Ramsey's starting to look $1 million again, and the goal was just sensational. It was a beautiful goal. And in the build-up to the goal, the Ozil skill, flick it round the geezer, it become the Ozil show towards the end of that game in running things. But I was happy for Aaron, and I'd much rather it had been next week, but let's be honest, mate, it's great to see any player hit form and get fit and get back in, because people easily forget what Aaron Ramsey's been through in his career, and people like Eduardo and Diaby, unfortunately for them, what happened to them ended their careers, and Ramsey battled through that. He went out, come back, went on loan to Cardiff again, he battled through 13-14, won a CFA Cup, and unfortunately he hasn't quite established himself since, but we're starting to see the best of him again, and the main thing for me is that he stays fit, he stays injury free, and he continues to thrive alongside Xhaka, and it's just good to see him, and not just Ramsey, every player. It's great to see everyone succeed, but yeah, I was happy he got his goal, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed it, because we were deep down, I know he frustrates people, but surely everyone wants to see him do well, because he's been through a lot in his career, and I'm happy to call him an Arsenal player, and he's getting that turn of pace back, and hopefully he continues it, mate.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Absolutely delighted to see Aaron Ramsey playing some absolutely liquid football today. I thought he had a quality game, and totally agree with you. Him and Xhaka in the midfield, they seem to click. They know each other's game so well, and I hope the next season we really do build on that, because we've got a really exciting midfield partnership there, and this current system's just working so well for us. But let's move on to next weekend. Of course, hopefully it won't all be doom and gloom, as this podcast has mainly been. Sorry,
James, can I just say two things about today. Sorry.
2 minutes? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No. 2 things. It won't be 2 minutes, and it's not a rant, I promise. I just wanted to mention something Arsenal did do well today when they displayed the cannon made up of names of fans who sadly passed away.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before, and it was really, really touching and very classy from Arsenal to remember, the fans, and it was done in a cannon. If anyone hasn't seen it, it was lovely. And I know, just very quickly, I've had this argument in the pub. It's just a bit of a change of subject of why Wenger didn't go on the lap of honour. I understand. I mean, I want Wenger to resign. There's no doubt, but I can also see the logic of him not walking around the pitch, because we have a cup final to play Saturday, and he would have got booed, and you wouldn't have to be able to differentiate between him getting booed and players. And he wanted to step back from that because he knows the toxic environment. He's not an idiot. And I've had argument after argument, people going, he was disrespectful, he was this. I actually think he did the players a lot of respect, let them walk round. None of them got booed. Warren, you weren't there. So Wenger stayed off the pitch, which he's never done before. He was there. He stood by the dugout. He was there, but he never came on once. And fans are going a bit nuts about it, saying he's disrespectful. He should be coming around for the lap of appreciation. But no, I agree with that stand that he didn't come on. I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, no worries. Very valid point. And I do think it's been a bit blown out of proportion, that whole thing. Is for sure. I've seen a lot of stuff today on social media. But yeah, I think we should just let that one slide. I think he made the right call there. Otherwise, it would have not set us up in terms of the best atmosphere for that game next Saturday, which I just want to touch on very quickly. I know you've got to go quickly, Amanda, so we'll just touch on it very quickly. Chelsea in the final of the FA Cup. Amanda, sticking with you. It's going to be a massive, massive game for us, coming up against a side that we rarely do well against. Of course, we can take some positivity from our 3-0 win against them, and we do go into this game with a lot of form. We've won 8 of our last 9 games, but with the current news of Gabriel and Koscielny being out, it's going to be a bit of a mismatched defence. How do you think Arsenal are going to line up going into this game?
I think we're going to win. I think it's so Arsenal to be in this position. As I said at the beginning of the pod, we've got God knows who's going to be in defence. Monreal, Mustafi, if he's fit. We don't know if Gabriel's going to be back. We don't know anything. It's too soon, obviously. But I don't like to predict because I'm crap at predicting, although I roughly got both scores right today. I think what we got to lose, seriously, I think the pressure will be off us. It's all on them. They've got to do the double. And if they lose to us, it's a bit embarrassing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't want to say, yeah. I mean, we are still Arsenal. Still got to hold our heads high going into that game.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, even before today, not many gave us a chance of winning. Now without a captain and God knows who else, we don't even know if Sanchez is going to be fit. I'd play him anyway. A half-fit Sanchez for me. I just think that it's all written on the wall. I don't think that's the term, is it, written on the wall? But I can't remember. It's all written in the stars. Written in the stars, that's it. That after one of the worst seasons we can remember in the Premier League and what we've seen and how bored and frustrated we've been, that we go and beat the strongest Chelsea team for years. It's just so Arsenal. It's so us.
Well, let's hope we're able to do it. Phil, coming to you, what back three do you think Arsene Wenger is going to go with in this game?
Exactly. Look, I think there's no doubt about it. Koscielny being out is a huge miss, as we touched on earlier. And I know we don't really know what happened to Gabriel, but I don't think he's got any chance of making it. You know, you can't get pulled off on a stretcher and make it a week after. I think he's out. So, unfortunately, because I thought he was playing well, as was referred to earlier, surprisingly, he always manages to play well against Everton and Lukaku in particular. So, that was a shame because, you know, there's been a few doubts over Gabriel this season, but, you know, today he was pretty much faultless. But having said that, I thought the BFG, his first appearance of the season, I thought it was excellent when he came on. You know, he's just so calm and he's just got that presence. You know, him and Cech, they're sort of like those wise old heads at the back. I mean, I would persist with the back three. I would play Per in the middle, Holding on the left, and Mustafi on the right. I think he was only out through illness today, so he should be back for next week, and I think that would be the way to go. I mean, there is the option of playing Monreal at centre half, and I think he's done reasonably well there this season when played. But I think we lose out on a lot if Gibbs is playing left wing back. I mean, I quite like Gibbs. He's Arsenal through and through. You know, he's an Arsenal boy. I think people go over the top with their criticism towards him, but I think he's just gone a bit stale recently. He's lost his place. Before it was a bit 50-50 between him and Monreal, but now there's no contest really, and I think he's just gone a bit stale. So I think we lose a lot on that left side if Monreal's not there. So I would stick Holding left centre back and Monreal left wing back. But other than that, I'd keep it as it is. The only other questionable or debatable position is Bellerin and Oxlade-Chamberlain. But I thought Bellerin was excellent today. He's sort of growing into that role after his confidence was shot. And after a few decent performances away to Stoke, and today I think he deserves his place in the side.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement there with that back three. I think it is somewhat of a risk to play Mertesacker. He has only played pretty much half a game today, but yeah, he was very calm, very composed when he came on, brought a lot of calmness to a defence that was slightly shot in the foot at that moment in the game. So yeah, I'd be inclined to start Mertesacker in the middle of the three and then Mustafi on the right and Holding on the left. And I just think it's imperative that Monreal plays in that left wing back role. He offers so much to our team going forward. The runs he makes, he's fantastic in that wing back role. It's a delight to see him playing there. I'm really pleased to see him develop so well into that position. But yeah, what's finally coming to you? What team do you want to see going into that game?
Yeah, I mean, he's such a curveball the way the injuries have affected us, but it just shows the depth in the squad that it ain't the worst team in the world, even the one we're talking about. And Xhaka Ramsey's got to be a must. I think we have to start Welbeck. I mean, I'm a big Giroud fan, but you have to start Welbeck. You have to stretch the game. I didn't think he had a very good game today, and I really don't believe that he's a natural centre forward. And by the way, he's missed today was beyond comical. It was, I don't even know how he managed to do what he done. I still can't work out what happened. I barely celebrated Bellerin's goal because I couldn't work out what was going on. I thought it was some sort of glitch, but what he does do well is he does stretch defences and he does run channels and he does get people thinking. But yeah, I mean, for Per Mertesacker, and it's frustrating that I almost forgot what Per Mertesacker was. And when he come on, he's very calm, he's very assured. He's very gangly, he looks very awkward, but he's very intelligent and he's an organiser. And if you sat him deep in between almost in between the other two centre backs, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all, because I like Per and he's very, very unlikely to be left exposed as he was in previous seasons with Phil Costa and things like that, when he's been pushed up so high on the halfway line on his own and he's just been left in a foot race, and it wouldn't be like that anymore. So look, at the end of the day, magic can happen in the cup, and I said it before, anything could happen on a day. Anything really could happen on a day, and if we turn up, there could be an incident, there could be a red card, anything can happen. And the form we've been on and the run we've been on, 8 wins out of 9 games, I think we have to be going into this game confident, and even though we have took a few hits with the injuries, I think we're lucky that we can deal defensively. I think we'll be okay with it, but we've still got Xhaka, Ramsey in there. I think they have to play. If Alexis can make it, Ozil and Welbeck, I think we've got a good foothold. And I personally would start Hector, because he's given the last few games, he's given his all and he's improving game by game. And he's harsh on Ox, but it's just unfortunate, and that's the way football is. And Bellerin's took his opportunity, and it's great to have that problem. And Ox can come on in the middle of the park, and he can come on the wing. It's going to be massive, and it is everything for this season. And it's a season to forget, but it could be one to remember, that in years gone by, we won't be talking about finishing 5th. We'll be talking about winning the FA Cup. So hopefully it does end like that, and we can smile and take some sort of enjoyment and happiness out of the season right at the very end of it, because even the cup run, to be fair, has been a bit of a laugh. I mean, we stumbled our way through, but at the end of the day, we're in an FA Cup final, and we've just got to go there, give our all, do what we can, and if we can get the result, then like I say, we won't be talking about 5th place. We'll be talking about winning the FA Cup, and in 20 years' time that'll be all that matters. It won't show FA Cup winners and 5th place. So yeah, we just got to put the league season behind us, win the cup, and try and move on next season and really compete and be the Arsenal.
And all that optimistic note was, what's the score prediction for the game, mate?
3-1 Chelsea. No, I'm joking. I think if we can keep it tight, I think the longer the game goes, and we've shown it recently, and a lot of our players physically seem to improve as the game goes on, especially people like Ramsey and people like Ozil. They seem to conserve energy, and if the longer we go in games, and we saw it against City in the semi, although first half they were far superior and we weren't really in the game, the longer it went on, the stronger we looked for me, and I always thought that we were getting better and better, and with this Chelsea side, we know they've got people like Kante, we know they're going to keep going, we know Hazard's a danger man, we know what they've got to offer, and if we can keep it tight and really try and play our football, I think we'll be alright, mate. And I can see it going all the way, to be fair. I really can see it going all the way. Maybe 1-1 in normal time, and I really do think it could go all the way to penalties, but it's going to be a tight game, and I don't think we'll be steamrolled, and I don't think that we'll make a disgrace of ourselves against big teams as we have in the past. But yeah, I mean, it's massive, and it's huge. We're all excited. We all can't wait to get to Wembley, and that national anthem comes on at the start of the game, and you're there. What a feeling it is being cup final day. So for one day, I can just forget about all the terrible things we've had this season and just enjoy it, mate. But yeah, hopefully I think it might go all the way, but yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. Okay, and Phil, your score prediction for the game, mate?
I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I don't know why. I don't know who's going to score. I've just got a feeling we're going to do it. Like Amanda said, it would be so Arsenal for us to pull it out the bag. So, yeah, 2-1 win. And I just also like to say about today, I thought Iwobi was really good when he came on, and it was really nice to see him back on the pitch again after, he was sort of put into oblivion for a few months. So, yeah, that was it really. 2-1, and hopefully, like Waz said, it will be a season to remember rather than one to forget.
Yeah, it's interesting that point you make about Iwobi. I thought he was class today, as he was when he came on against Sunderland. I know he's a big favourite of yours, but we won't get into that. Amanda, finally coming to you, your score prediction for the game.
Oh.
Come on, Amanda, come on.
My predictions are never right. Even when I did the Gooner Girls podcast, I would never predict for years. There's no point. They're always wrong.
All right, this is the Gooner Ramble. We do it differently, yeah. Come on.
Okay, so I think 0-0, we'll win it on penalties, just like we did against United 100 million years ago, 10 years ago, wherever it was at Cardiff. And I was just tweeted about it. It's the most one-sided final I'd ever been to, where United should have won about 6-0. We get 0-0 and we win it on penalties with Patrick Vieira's last kick for Arsenal. See, I do remember some things. I think it'll go to penalties.
All right. Well, I'm inclined to go with a similar outcast. We win it with Mesut Ozil's last kick for Arsenal. How about that?
Outcome, you mean, not outcasts. We're the outcasts. Your outcome.
All right, well, as you can tell, I'm very tired after watching a very tiresome day from Arsenal, I suppose.
Mesut Ozil's last kick? Sorry, mate. I ain't having that. I'll be
No, it won't be. It'll be Sanchez's last kick, not Ozil's.
Whoever's.
Don't. I cried when he went off today. My eyes welled up when he went off today.
Alrighty. On that positive, delightful note, we'll leave it there. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to the Gooner Ramble, and thanks to my wonderful panel. Thank you, Amanda, for coming on tonight. As always, been a pleasure.
Yeah, I've ranted a tad. Thank you for having me.
And Phil, great to have you on, mate.
No, a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
No worries at all, and was delightful as always.
Yeah, I'll just personally like to say thank you very much to everyone on the Gooner Ramble. I've had a great season, first season doing it, and I've loved every minute of it. And unfortunately, we ain't at the end game, and hopefully we win the final. But yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting to you all. You're all great people, and I've loved it. So thanks, mate.
Oh, yeah, it's my first season with you lot as well.
Yeah, mine.
And mine.
We're the newbies.
Yeah, we're the 4 debutantes.
Yeah, the new ones.
Yeah, well, just from me as well, it's been an absolute delight working with the Gooner Ramble this season. I've had a great time both hosting and just featuring as a guest and doing the video podcast as well. It's all been great fun, and thanks to Akil and everyone else, Giles, etc. It's been wonderful chatting to everyone and forming new friendships out of it. It's been great to meet you all. But yeah, that's just my stance on it. Thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. Hopefully we can get that win in the FA Cup final against Chelsea. As you can tell, it's been very, very optimistic from us. But yeah, as I say, thanks to my wonderful panel. Thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to follow us on all the social medias, and we'll be speaking to you very soon.
And always Arsenal.
Football has its ups and downs. You can't win every match, but you can win every bet. Start your free trial and earn £30 risk-free today at oddswatchdog.co.uk.